Hi everyone, I'm Heidi Smith and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator based here in the United Kingdom, and you can find me at Flutter by Heidi. And today I'm doing a little bit of a different project for you. I'm hopping along with the Stamp Around UK crew to bring you a video hop. So below my video in the description bar, if you click the little down arrow, you'll see a link to lots of other videos all using the same theme, and this theme is actually called one stamp set 4 ways. So the idea is that we take one stamp set and show 4 different projects using it. So I have taken the jar of flowers, which has 4 seasonal bunches in it, and I'm creating I've got 4 different projects. Obviously I'm only going to have time to do one in this one today. You don't want to be sat here for hours, but I will do some videos on the other projects as well. So just you know, pop along to my blog, subscribe to my YouTube, and you'll get notified when I post these. The reason I love this one though is because it comes with a jar punch. So you can create super projects with this jar, you can overlay with vellum and all sorts of things. So I just thought it was a great fun stamp set to utilise. But I thought let's go for 4 different techniques as well. So to start off with, I've got this card here, and this is the one I'm going to be showing you, which is just very simple stamping and the use of a label punch to create some little banners here. Add a few pearls and again some simple colouring. Keep it quite, you know, with quite simple with the colours, and on the inside a little bit of crushed curry. So that's the project. But my other project, so this one is a watercolour effect, but using some clear embossing powder, not even white. I've just done clear and a wash of a single colour, well, a hint of blue and a little bit of pink in there as well, just to create a simple watercoloured card to show you how different it looks. So that's the sort of the Tulip the Spring stamp set. We've then got the other thing that comes with these, which are shaker domes, and I have used a confetti punch to create some multicoloured confetti that match the flowers. I've used some of the lovely clear shapes there as well to be like water droplets, and that's just a really fun card to give anybody. And rather than sequins, I thought it was rather fun to have some confetti on there as well. And then finally, just to show that you don't always have to use the jar with this, I've used just the top as a panel on this little box, and this is a shadow box to hold a lovely essential oil for someone. So as I say, you know, it just goes to show you haven't got to use it as it comes. You haven't got to use the jar punch all the time. You can just use the flowers as a spray of flowers on their own as well. So those are my one stamp set 4 ways. There's many more that you're going to see with this project, but we'll get started with our pretty sunflower card. And I'm starting off with some thick Whisper White cardstock. So Stampin' Up! Does 2 lots of cardstock, standard and thick. And I use my thick, if I'm just doing a simple card base, I use my thick cardstock because it just has a really good strength to it for single card bases. So take some cardstock, and I've cut half a sheet, and I'm cutting it at 14.5 centimetres. Then I'm scoring, it's at 21 width, and I'm scoring at 10.5. So that's our standard card base, as you can see there. So we'll reinforce that in a moment. I'm then going to cut some strips of our designer series paper, and this is the new designer series paper for the in colours. So we have got some Just Jade, and this all comes in the same pack for 6x6. This is our Honeybee that I used, Magenta Madness, Cinnamon Cider and Misty Moonlight, and all of them come, you get 4 sheets, 5 sheets each. You get the dots on the one side, and on the reverse of that is like a textured effect. We then have our wood grain and our typeface, and that's all in different languages as well. So whatever you've got Dutch, French, German, English, all sorts on there. So those are our designs of paper, and I say, you know, they're great fun designs, and you just got those in all of the colours that you want. So 4 different designs for each colour. So we want a little bit of that. So I'm going to cut my largest one, because I'm using our new Label Me lovely labels, pick a punch, and I'm going to cut that at 2.5 centimetres or 1 inch. And I just want a strip of that. I then want a strip actually of the reverse, but going in the opposite direction. And again, I only need a small piece, so I can just cut that off the end, and that's going to be 3/4 of an inch or 1.9 centimetres. And you'll see I've just written those onto the front of my punch to remind me as well. And then I need a tiny strip of cardstock, which is 1.2 centimetres, so just 1/2 inch, which I've got there as well. So I can pop that to one side. Now, with each of those, I'm just going to pop them into the punch, and you'll see there are different channels for the different sizes. So pop it all the way in, make sure it's nice and straight, and just punch. Do the same with our next one, and the same with our final one, just pops into that little one. And then we've got 3 different label ends, and then I'm just going to add those to the front of the card and trim those off afterwards. So I'll pop those to one side. So let's have a look at our simple stamping. So you've got a choice here. You can do one of 2 things. First of all, I'm going to stamp my vase down towards the bottom of my card using some Memento ink, and just pop that on there right at the bottom, like so. I'm going to, these have got some reversible stamps, so actually what you do is on the one side it stamps the image, and if you turn it over you can then use it as a solid stamp to infill the jar. So again, just ink it up nicely, and there's our water in our jar. I'm going to actually do something slightly different with this one. Depends whether you've got Memento ink, just Memento, or any other colour, but I'm actually going to use a green for the stems. So take the stem stamp, and I'm popping that, obviously the stems are going to come through that neck of the jar, like so. And then finally, I've actually decided I'm going to stamp my flowers in my crushed curry. So in the first one, I stamped them in Memento Black because I thought I might colour them with blends. But this time I'm actually going to show you a slightly different technique. So I'm stamping my flowers in my crushed curry. And then what I'm going to do now is I take a block and I'm going to dip that in my ink pad, like so. And if ever you haven't got the right colour to colour something, if you've got stamping blends, you're sorted. So just dip it in, take a little bit of the colour off, and then you can easily colour in that flower. And as you go around, it will get lighter, which actually is what you want because petals aren't the same colour. And I just felt that actually it was, rather than using my marker, just taking that ink actually gave it a more realistic effect. Those sunflowers. So I'm just coming all the way around, and I'm leaving the rest of the flowers uncoloured and the foliage. Now obviously depending on what you like, you could colour it all in. If you've got Stampin' Blends, these are great for colouring. But if you haven't, then say a blender pen and an ink pad just gives you the chance to do some colouring and see how you get on. Because we all need to try things out, don't we? And it's, you know, for some people they love colouring, others, yeah, not really for me. I have to say I enjoy it more now we've got the stamping blends. I find those are so easy to colour with and get really lovely shading. But sometimes you don't need anything other than that little jar of sunshine that we've got there. So all that's left to do is to add our little strips. Okay, so I'm going to just take my snail and I'm just going to add, so I'm going to look at approximately where it is. You probably can't see, so I'm lining that up with approximately where I'm going to glue it to. Just pop that on the back. And I've actually, punched the wrong end because the writing is upside down. So I'm going to quickly punch the opposite end. Open your punch up first. It's always a good plan. Right. Okay, now I'm going to actually add some glue to the other end. So whenever you've got typewritten face, do check that it's actually in the right orientation. It is a bit of a help. It doesn't matter on these other ones because obviously they are just patterns. And add that on. And then your final bit, I've actually cheated because I have used another stamp set here just for sentiment. I've used Lovely You and I've just used Smile. Now I haven't got the ink that goes with this yet, it's not yet available, so I'm using Versamark. If ever you want to get just a self-coloured ink, and you can use Versamark and it just creates a watermark. It's not particularly deep in colour, but it is there. And I think a lovely sunflower card would make anybody smile. Then come in with your scissors and just trim down the outside. And all that remains is first add some of these lovely gold and silver pearls. Obviously I'm using the gold here. Just to add a little bit of bling, a little bit of fun to our cards. And there we have a simply stamped fun card, and that's just one of the ways you can use this stamp set. As I said, you can use the flowers, you can heat emboss and create a watercolour card, or you can make a shaker card. So one stamp set, 4 different ways. Got to be worth popping in your basket. And if you'd like to purchase it, pop along to my blog flutterbyheidi.co.uk, where you'll find all of the items for sale. Follow the links. Alternatively, if you go to my Stampin' Up shop, heidismith.stampinup.net, you can search for it there. It's called Jar of Love. Get it now. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy seeing the other projects, the other ladies in the blog. Bye now.